Good afternoon and welcome to RoomRaccoon's Product Release 24.1 Showcase. My name's Frank Cashier and I'm the Customer Success Manager for the UK and Ireland market. And today I'll be showing you the recent release that we did, so Product Release 24.1, in regards to child policy, daily revenue closing, which is available for premium and enterprise customers, two-factor authentication, and I will be briefly touching on the e-commerce tracking for booking engines, which is available for premium and enterprise customers. After this call, we will send you some Help Centre articles in relation to everything that we discussed today. But what I'd like to do is start off by giving you a walkthrough of the features, starting with the child policy. So, the child policy, in regards to surcharge for children, offers flexibility in family pricing. So we recognise children as surcharges, not as rate plans. So what you can do is you can create multiple child policies, specifying details such as surcharge amounts and assigning your policies to specific room categories. So the child policy runs on a defined schedule basis. And so you need to have a start and end date to understand the boundaries of when it needs to run. To get to the child policy and set up your surcharges for children, you go to My Property in your RoomRaccoon account and go over to Surcharge for Children. What you will see here is in my demo account over here, I've created different child policies for different age brackets. So as you can see, for 0 to 4 years and 5 to 17 years. And what I've done is I've split them into the seasons, so winter, summer, spring. So winter, spring, summer, and autumn. It's really important to note you cannot create overlapping policies in the same age group. They need to run concurrently. The end date encompasses the up to and including. So what you can do is you can create schedule policies to run concurrently to accommodate seasonal changes and surcharges. And to enable this, you will need to set occupancy limits for room categories and configure a fallback child policy. So as discussed, this is where you go to set up your child policy, and it's as simple as going to My Property as discussed earlier, surcharge for children, and creating a surcharge. Once you create your surcharge, it's the basic settings. It's a step-by-step process. So you simply put a policy name, so child policy 1, or what I did is I put obviously the year, so the 0 to 4 years. You can select a minimum age, so 0 and 4, as I stipulated that in my policy name. And then you need to select a date range and surcharge. As discussed, we need a start date and an end date. So a start date as, if I move over to 2025, so if we did one from January to March, so 1st of January to the 31st of March. And in here, I can create a surcharge price per night. So I'm going to put a £30 surcharge per night. So essentially what that means is on the booking engine, which I'll show you later on in the demonstration, when you select adults and children, it'll come up with a 2-person rate plan if you select 2 adults and 1 child, and it'll add the surcharge onto that for you, creating the policy there. So I can create that. I can add another rule if I wish, which gives me the same concept of the start date that applies until the surcharge as well. And then we can select categories. So what you can do is you can have it based on all categories, or you can create different surcharges for children based on the room category as well. Once you're happy with that, you just press save. And there it is created right at the bottom. There is also, you can visit the Help Centre in regards to helping you set up a surcharge for children, or we do have a video link here which will take you straight through to our YouTube channel where you can view the video setup. Now, as I said, what we need to do is create the occupancy to reflect this as well. So when we go into categories, you'll have all your room categories set up on the left over here with your rate plans. Again, this is in My Property. You'll click Manage Details on each specific category, and you'll go down to the advanced options where you have occupancy. When you click on occupancy, it gives you the option to choose the max occupancy the max adults and the max children. So the max occupancy is the maximum amount of occupants you can have in that room. The max adults is the maximum adults. So it doesn't have to necessarily equal to the max occupancy, because you could have it where you allow 6 adults, or you can have it where you allow 4 adults and 2 children as a maximum. And then over here we have the surcharge for children, which is ticked for each surcharge for child policy that we've created, that we've assigned to this specific room category. So not all external booking channels send us the age of booked children. So we need to down here select a child policy, one of the child policies that we created, so that RoomRaccoon can use it as a fallback to be able to support the bookings correctly for you. Simply just clicking on the drop down and selecting which child policy you want to utilize. And press and save. Perfect. So over to the booking engine side of things and how it looks. So what you may have noticed is we've had a few changes to the booking engine. So when I go to book now onto my booking engine, you'll see it gives me, when I click on the drop down, the opportunity to select how many adults and how many children I want to search for. So I'm going to search for 2 children, 2 adults and 1 child. So when I select the child, it asks me for the age of the child. So I'm going to select the age as 2 years. Apply, and then search for my travel period. Let's say I'm going for the 1st till the 2nd of May. Show availability. So now what it shows me is it will show me, because I've selected 2 adults, it will show me my 2-person rate plans and have an icon for a child and show me how many children I've included. So when I click into here now and go to next, what it will show you is the spa package, what it includes, and the child surcharge is £20. So it brings the total from £2,500 to £2,520, allowing me to book now. Once again, if we then select 2 children instead, so we have to redo this. So we do 2 children, 2 adults and 2 children, and we put this child as 3. Or should we do 6, for instance? Let's apply. Show availability. Therefore, once again, it brings up the 2-person rate plans along with 2 children as well. So if I was to click onto here, it shows me the full price. Once again, single room is £2,500, but then my child surcharge is £50. Now, you may have noticed there's a difference in price, and this is due to the rate, the surcharge that I created over here. So what I've done is for different types, so 0 to 4 years old, I've put the surcharge as £30 or £20, £30, £20. Whereas for 5 to 17-year-olds, I've got it as £40 and £30. So therefore, because of the ages that I've selected, it assigns the appropriate child policy and the appropriate fee. So that's where you see the child surcharge is £50 for both children staying in this specific room. You can see we've done a lot of UI changes to the booking engine now, where it has a discount code in here. You can put a discount code in and it pre-populates it all for you. Okay. I hope that all makes sense. Once again, there's videos here, and I'm going to help send to articles after this demo as well. Then we move over to the daily revenue closing reports. So we go over to the report section, and we have daily revenue over here. So the purpose for bringing in this feature is to allow accurate revenue reporting and ensuring the integrity of the revenue captured per day. So you'll now have the opportunity to close your daily revenue for a specific day up to a specific date. This guarantees that the financial date for the reservation is up to date and is set in stone, preventing any additional revenue from being added or past revenue figures from being altered. Closing is really important to understand that closing your daily revenue is a permanent and irreversible action. This means you'll no longer have the ability to modify, delete, or update the rate plan, discounts, or any additional offerings for bookings on a date affected by the closure. So once again, Everything here has a help center article that you can go through as well, and I'll send it over to you in a separate email too, as well as a YouTube video that you can link straight into here to show you what the daily revenue is. So daily revenue, you can see it all here, and what it basically does, it splits it into room revenue, and it'll split it into the revenue groups. Now, I haven't got any extra revenue groups created, so what it does, if you don't have the revenue groups created, it just bundles it all into other. But you can create revenue groups like food and beverage, minibar, etc. And what it will do, it will split the revenue into each individual revenue group for you. So you can download the report so you can see what the day looks like. So this is for tomorrow, obviously, as we know, and this is for today. And what you'll see is you have due to be closed. So my due to be closed is tomorrow, today, and yesterday. So if it gets to the end of the day and I want to close, I can close until this day, which means it will close Wednesday the 21st and Tuesday the 20th for me. And as you can see here, it gives you a bit of a breakdown of the revenue too. You can click on show more details and it just gives you the full breakdown. You have a bulk option up here, which is closed all until the 20th. So you can do it that way. You can view different ones by selecting the dates and selecting whether it's 5 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, or 1 month. And then you also have a toggle over here, which shows your closing history. So I myself closed everything from before the 18th. So I can view this between the 17th to the 22nd. I can go to 2, etc., etc. When I download the reports, it downloads it in bulk for me and creates a file with all the reports in there. So what I've done is I have this report, management report, which is from the 15th of February. And what you can see, it breaks it down for you. Now, as I said up here, what it'll do, it will split it into the revenue groups if you have them set up already. But as you can see from this report, it gives you the gross total, the VAT and the revenue. It shows you obviously the revenue group itself. So this is the room revenue group. This is the other revenue group. So it's bundled the add-ons as well as the minibar or other options that I've had that's associated with it. It shows you the gross total, the VAT, and then the revenue, the gross minus the VAT, etc. It gives you the payments total, as well as it shows you the dates. Now, because this is my demo account, I haven't actually processed any payments on there, so it will show as 0, but you'll see some statistics down here regarding date, rooms available, etc., etc. It shows you the blocked rooms, it will show you the number of guests, it will show you the occupancy percentage for that specific day. And what you can see is it really brings it down and narrows it down for you and allows you to close that revenue off for the day. So obviously, if you close revenue for the day, but you need to charge, that revenue is now closed off. You can't make any amendments to that specific day. If you go into a reservation for the 15th, for example, when it's already been closed off, you see the reservation has 1 more days closed. Revenue for closed days can no longer be modified. So you get notified of that. So I can't make any changes. I can't add any discounts, etc. I can add any add-ons that needs to be done afterwards. Maybe we've missed it off, or maybe there's some charges for any broken elements to the room that you might need to add after closing the room. You can add it here. Okay, and therefore take payment as you need. But then this revenue will sit, as you can see when I do the breakfast, it comes up today. Okay, so it won't come up for the date of the reservation that they stayed. It will come up as a date as today, because that's when I'm adding it, because I've already closed the revenue. Perfect. Okay, on to two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is found in the settings and the login side. So two-factor authentication on RoomRaccoon adds an extra layer of security to your account. The two-factor authentication needs to first be enabled on a general account before it can be added individually to each login. So it's really imperative that you log in with your general login first to set this feature up. Now, it's important to note that the two-factor authentication is not applicable to users with the role permissions of housekeeper and maintenance. So that's when you're using Raccoon Housekeeping. It's a really simple setup process. So as I said, you need to be in your general login. So you go over to settings, you go over to logins, and then you have it over on the right hand side here. It talks to you about two-factor authentication setup. It tells you what two-factor authentication does after you have it set up. This is how you set it up, and you can always revoke and disable the authentication of logins. Okay, so all you need to do is click I acknowledge and enable. And what that then does is it creates a QR code. What you then need to do after you've done this is you open your two-factor authentication mobile app. Now, this can be done on Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. Then all you need to do is add an authentication code by scanning that QR code. So this QR code that appears on your login screen. Always make sure, as I said, really imperative, that the main account holder goes through this process first. And as we said before, you can always disable the feature in the login tab you're tapping. So you're on logins, and as you can see over here, there's a disable button. So if you click disable, it then takes it back to you having to process that two-factor authentication again. Quite simple process to set up and quite simple process to follow. Like I said, this would be on the help center articles as well that you can follow. Lastly, we're just going to touch on the e-commerce tracking for the booking engine. So as I said previously, this is only available to our premium and enterprise customers. Now there's no showing you here because I'm just going to talk it through. So what we've done is we've enabled the tags on our booking engine to be integrated with Tag Manager and Google Analytics to be tracked for e-commerce guest actions. So it can help in understanding guest behaviors and preferences more. This feature is for advanced users who are familiar with Google Console, because you will need to have advanced knowledge of e-commerce tracking and setup to be able to do it. So while we do offer advice on how to set up your Tag Manager and Google Analytics, we do not offer any support in a setup of Tag Manager for you, and therefore you would need to consult an external party for this. Okay, so we do offer advice how to set up your Tag Manager, but we don't offer support in the setup of the Tag Manager. Again, you'll need to therefore consult an external party for this. Now you'll see there's quite a lot of exciting things going on with that 24.1 release on the showcase, and we're really excited about it. And honestly, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And like I said, after this, we'll be sending over some links for help center articles in regards to what we've discussed today. Thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely day.